Hey everybody, we are live. This is Darkstream with Vox Day. That's me, voxday.blogspot.com. Some people have suggested that I talk about sweet nothings for a bit while people log on. I think it's probably a reasonable idea. So yes, I'm still hyped. I am not at all tired of winning. In fact, we'll have a shirt. We'll have a shirt relating to that soon, crypto fashion. But yeah, I'm so high energy that we actually finished 3 Castalia House books today. We finished Do We Need God to Be Good by a world-renowned anthropologist. We finished Daughter of Danger, the 4th Moth and Cobweb book by John C. Wright. And we also finished volume 1 of my collected columns. So 2 books, 3 days. You know, that's high energy. And of course, and I would love a Gophers hockey shirt. Actually, one of my favorite baseball caps was a Gophers hockey baseball cap for some reason. We are so getting the Trump Slide 2020 t-shirts made. They're already in the works. So. You know, I mean, I love watching this madness, and that's what it is on the part of the left. This is total and utter madness. And it's not only in the States. There are tens of thousands of people in Great Britain who are out demonstrating and just making complete jackasses of themselves. They're trying to deny the God Emperor a state visit to visit the UK, which is just, I mean, absolutely insane. On what planet, are you going to say, yes, we're a small country out in the middle of the Atlantic. You're our most important trading partner, but we're going to say that you can't come here, even though you've got enough nukes to basically turn this place into Atlantis. I mean, on what planet? I would love. Here's what I would absolutely love to see the God Emperor do: is say, you know what, Britain, fine. I'm not coming. In fact, I'm going to go visit my friend Vladimir Putin over in Moscow, and then just ignore them. They will be pleading with him. Half the people that are protesting will be pleading with him to come and visit. And the fact is that, like all these things, it's just the left. It's just the left. They took a poll and of people in England, and plenty of people in England support what they call the travel ban. Most Americans support the travel ban. Only 33% of the people in the United States are opposed to what he's doing. Now you wouldn't know that if you read the paper, because of course the paper is exactly what Steve Bannon says it is. The media is the opposition party, and so. The whole thing is just insane. And so it's not true that Trump's approval rating is low right now. In fact, Trump's approval rating is absolutely higher than Obama's was from June 2009 until January 15th, 2016. And so, the idea that all of this stuff, Cernovich is right. It's the hoax media. It's the fake media. They say this ridiculous stuff. Where am I getting the numbers from? I'm getting them from Rasmussen reports. Rasmussen report says these numbers. They've been taking these polls every day. The daily presidential tracking poll. They go they go so far back, and so the stuff being reported by Quinnipiac and whatever are just ridiculous. And so, anyhow, I don't think it's that big a deal, but it's interesting to see what's going on, because the whole focus of the left is going to be completely turned on its. It's just going to be flipped and turned on its heels, because the freakouts that you're seeing so far about the travel ban are nothing. I mean, they are absolutely nothing. because the God Emperor is only warming up. And so what he's starting to do is he is just warming up. And that is why they're reacting so strongly. That's why they're overreacting so strongly, because they know it, and they are trying to get him to stop. They're trying to get him to back up. Oh, was that directed at me? That's funny. I'm sorry. Somebody said something about how I hadn't even read 10 books. That's kind of funny because I'm the best-selling author of, I think, 15, 16 books. In fact, I'm actually one of the best-selling political philosophers in the world. So I have read a few books. Anyhow, so what's interesting is that what they are freaking out about is they're trying to get Donald Trump to stop. They're trying to say, look at how much force is, and look how much pressure we can raise against you, and it's nothing. I mean, it's literally nothing. Trump is still trolling the hell out of people. I mean, did you see how he was mocking Schumer and saying that Schumer must have had some good acting classes because he was talking about his fake crying. And so, okay, I'm going to block this guy. He's a loser. There we go. All right. But so the interesting thing, though, is that what's coming down the road is going to be more significant. And some of the stuff that's coming quickly is, for example, the Supreme Court nomination. The other thing that's coming that's going to be very serious is the H-1B visa restructuring, or whatever it is that Trump's going to do. And that's part of why the left is absolutely freaking out. That is because social media companies heavily rely upon H-1B visas in order to keep their costs down. And so they bring in these people who take American jobs. They pay them a lot less money. And so that's part of why you're seeing the big tech giants supporting all the leftist efforts, because they know that the God Emperor is about to drop a hammer on the H-1B visas, as he promised he would do. And that is going to have a terrible effect on their prices. That's going to have a terrible effect on their ability to replace American workers. And so it's going to be great. I mean, it's a great move. I personally would love to see the God Emperor simply ban the H-1B visa, cancel them all, tell them all, you got to go home, and boom, that's it. So, but what I wanted to talk about is, one of the things that the left has said for generations, as long as I can remember, is you can't legislate morality. So what I find fascinating about all this screaming about how you must let in the refugees, and we must let these people come in, and we must save them, and blah, blah. I mean, what people don't realize is that is a moral argument. They are making a moral argument and saying that a secular nation, the United States of America, has to obey this moral imperative in order to it has to pass laws based on a moral argument in order to bring these refugees in. Now, the thing is, if that's true, if we accept that, then there's absolutely no reason why we can't ban homosexuality. There's no reason why we can't ban atheism. If we're legislating morality, then we have the ability to do all those things. Okay? Somebody said religion has nothing to do with morality. That's not true. Religion is a basis for a number of moral systems. And so once you're deciding, okay, morality can be the basis for our secular legal system, then what you can do is that it's just a matter of which moral system you pick. And so, whenever people say something is immoral, then my first question to them is always, on the basis of which morality? What is your moral system? And, that's usually when the person says, what? because most people are not philosophers, and most people do not really stop and think through this. They don't have any thought process on this. They go to the first level, maybe they go to the second level, but they don't go beyond that. And so, but the important thing is that you need to remember that all these people screaming about refugees, anytime somebody is talking about refugees and using the word should, they are making a moral argument. And that's where you can come back at them hard. You can come back at them and say, okay, so if it's a moral imperative for us to bring in these refugees, is it also a moral imperative for us to ban abortion? Is it a moral imperative for us to ban homosexuality? Is it a moral imperative for us to ban atheism? Any of those things are on the table if you're going to bring in your other moral argument. Okay, and so the question: how long will this Periscope last? I usually do them for about 20 minutes, another 10 minutes or so. So the important thing to do is to understand the basis of your opponent's argument, and the basis of their arguments are moral, and so that gives us the ability to respond to them with moral arguments in response. Is it moral to deny American children the resources that they need to go to school? Is it moral to deny American workers the ability to get paid the value of their labor because you want to give their jobs to someone else? No, of course not. And so now, yeah, somebody pointed out they're all in hysterics. They're not going to respond to that sort of thing. Of course they're not going to. What we're talking about is counter rhetoric. Okay, you're not trying to convince the lunatic who's frothing at the mouth, who's saying, what is their chant? No borders, no nations, fuck deportations. Okay, we should be quoting them. We should be quoting them every single time on that, because 95% of the actual American people believe in nations. These people are literally anti-American, and they are anti-America, and so that's where we hammer them on it. You need to hit them with high and low. You need to hit them with rhetoric, with dialectic, for the people who are looking on, who want to see, okay, what are the rational arguments and so forth. We have plenty of rational arguments for them, but we cannot make the mistake of allowing them to hold the rhetorical ground. We have to hit them back. So, for example, when they say open borders, open nations, fuck deportations, what do we say? We say, you have to go home. You have to go home. Yeah, no hate, no fear. Refugees are welcome here. Just come back. You have to go home. And what's hilarious, and rhetoric is the art of emotional manipulation. And when you're dealing with SJWs, what convinces them is emotional pain. And so whenever they feel pain, that their mind wants to avoid it, and so they will actually switch their opinion, thinking the whole time that they are rational. But what they're really trying to do is they're trying to avoid the emotional pain. And so the way that you convince an SJW is you hit them hard. Just hit them harder. It doesn't matter. I'm talking rhetorically here. You hit them harder, and that is what will convince them. And so, what's hilarious is when you get someone who is they're doing the whole no open borders, no nations, that sort of thing. You say you have to go back. They will immediately respond, "I'm an American," whatever. It's best if it's like a white male American, whatever, and you just say, "Hey, you have to go back. You don't belong here. No borders, no nations. You should be in Venezuela or Peru or whatever." The point is, it doesn't. Here's the thing: it doesn't have to make sense. These are not rational people. These are not coherent people. Okay? What you're doing is you're speaking in their language of emotions. Okay? You are speaking to them at their level. See, what a lot of people don't understand, a lot of you probably don't understand, is that they think they are affecting you. they think that they are triggering the emotional responses in you that they feel themselves when they say that. So so they're getting all fired up by saying oh, no borders, no nations, and that sort of thing. That makes them feel a certain way, and they think that they're going to make you feel that way if they say it. And so it doesn't work on us because, first of all, at the emotional level, we have different triggers. There are different emotional reactions that we have, and so their rhetoric usually doesn't work very well on us. Some of us are highly rational. For example, I get an awful lot of rhetoric directed at me. People saying things like, I'm stupid, I'm evil, I'm heartless, you name it. I haven't even read 10 books, that kind of stuff. I mean, no, that's just nonsense. I mean, it's utter nonsense. That's why it doesn't bother me at all, because I've been hearing it for 15 years. I mean, you can't be a syndicated columnist and not hear that crap. And so you can't pay attention to it because it's so absurd. But the important thing is that you got to come back at them. You got to come back at them. You got to hit them harder. Andrew Breitbart said, punch back twice as hard. Okay? So don't be silent when you see your idiot friends, your idiot SJW family, doing their moral posturing on Facebook or whatever. Hit them back and trigger them. You don't need to be a complete jackass about it. You don't need to call them, you're stupid, and then coming back at them with, with hurtful dialectic, pointing out the fact that, they failed English in 10th grade or whatever. What you do is you trigger them emotionally. So every time they talk about Donald Trump, you say, God Emperor. Every time they talk about open borders or refugees, you say they have to go back. You say, build the wall, deport them all. Just keep it simple. But somebody said, Facebook trigger is risky, makes you an SJW target for attack. You are an SJW target for attack. All of you are SJW targets for attack. Okay? And so you need to understand that. They are going to be coming after you no matter what. Look at those people that got beat up in Portland. They were just minding their own business, trying to get on a flight. They tried to walk away, and they couldn't. And so you're not going to be given the option of sitting by peaceably. Okay? If they wanted peace, they would not be trying to push it in your face on social media. SJW is a social justice warrior. Actually, let me segue for a bit. If you want to know more about this, I wrote this book last year. I'm actually working on the sequel right now. Some people had sent me some email saying, "How do we?" Let's get rid of this guy too. He's an idiot. Some of you have been asking, "How do we help you?" or "How can we support you?" and that sort of thing. And so this is a good place to start. SJWs always lie. Read the reviews. You'll see why people find it useful. It's basically written to be a SJW survival guide. There's actually a free PDF, free 8-page PDF saying if you're being attacked by SJWs at your work or at your school or whatever, it's free at voxday.blogspot.com. Just go there, pick it up. Also, if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can download it for free. But I would highly, highly recommend it. Not because I wrote it, but because I experienced it. I got kicked out of. Not really. I won't bore you with the details, but basically, I had the Science Fiction Writers of America come after me, and so that and Gamergate inspired the writing of this book, and so. So because I have this experience, I thought, I'm not the only person. I'm not the only person who has experienced this. I looked at people like Brendan Ike. I looked at the people like Sir Tim Hunt, and it was the same thing every time. The same attack, the same tactics, the same attack structure, everything. And so I thought, I'm a game designer. I'm very good at recognizing patterns and that sort of thing. So I recognized the pattern, worked through it, And so, and I've gotten hundreds of emails from people saying, hey, I got in trouble with SJWs at work or at school. You know, I read your survival guide and ended up with a much better outcome than they might have anyways, than they might have had, because, you know, it helps you avoid making mistakes like apologizing, resigning, doing all those things that they're trying to get you to do. So anyhow, you know, so if that's something that you know, if this is something that you want to support, that's a great way to do it. You know, check it out. Why do you have more of a right to America than they do? Well, anyone who is a American has more of a right to America than someone who is not an American. And America is a nation. It's a group of people. You know, the French have more of a right to France than anybody else. The Israelis have more of a right to Israel than anyone else. The Germans have more of a right to Germany than anyone else. Okay? And so, you know, that's why I mean, that is the whole point of nationality. And so, the important thing, you know, in fact, that brings us to this other book. If you want to get into that, I and another American Indian, John Red Eagle, wrote a book, Cuckservative. It's called How Conservatives Betrayed America. And, you know, if you want to know why I'm alt-right, if you want to know why the alt-right is inevitable, this is a good book to read, because it will tell you all about the lies of the melting pot, all about the lies of the conservatives, of the progressives, and everybody that is trying to claim, you know, trying to claim no borders, no nations, and all that sort of thing. And so, you know, you need to understand that these people are utterly and absolutely dishonest. Every single time. Every single time. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're talking to cucky Christians about the Bible. It doesn't matter whether you're talking to hardcore leftists about IQ. It doesn't matter if you're talking to people about American history and the intentions of the founders and those sort of things. SJWs and progressives lie every single time. And so it is very, very easy. It is very, very easy to expose these lies, and that's what I think that that's what, you know, we have to do. We have to stick to the truth, and don't be afraid of this violence ramping up. You know, we're the ones with the guns. We're the ones, you know, the U.S. Marines and the National Guard, and, you know, the people who own the 300 million guns that are owned by people are you know, around the United States. Those are the people that are in our side, on our side. And so if it's going to go to violence, then if it's going to go to violence, the right wing is going to win. You know, even the civic nationalists who are concerned about the rise of the alt-right openly admit that. And so the important thing is, don't be afraid, don't back down, and hang on, I'm going to nuke this guy. He's doing a lot of posturing here. Okay. So anyhow, so to remember that's the thing. Whenever you're running into the rhetoric, just tell them you have to go back. Doesn't matter who they are. Doesn't matter if it makes sense. And make sure that you are aware of your surroundings, aware of who's around you. You know, don't be like those people in Portland who think they're going to be left alone. You're not going to be left alone. So, oh, and just an answer to one question. The gym rearrangement went pretty well. I'm happy with it. I like the new weight benches. I like most of the things. They did get rid of a back exercise machine that I really like, and I'm not crazy about the cable pull replacement for it, but you know, it's all right. So anyhow, thanks very much for coming. Remember, oh, and here's a book. Yes, would I suggest a book or an article for an atheist who wants to believe? I would recommend Do We Need God to Be Good by C.R. Hallpike. That will be out very soon. And then I would also recommend my own The Irrational Atheist. That would also be a great book. So anyhow, thanks very much. I'll look forward to seeing you probably tomorrow. And yeah, go out there, trigger some SJWs. You know what to do now, so get out there and do it.